So what's an average day for food for you like nowadays?
Yeah, so an average day depends on what I'm doing, but an average, like if I'm home, and have all my produce and everything, not like I'm traveling like I am now. An average day is super simple. This is not a hard diet to do in any case. And my lunch and my breakfast are always one of the following. That being said, before I even have lunch or breakfast, in the morning I generally awaken out of bed. First thing I do is get hydrated. That's very important to me to stay hydrated. I live in a place where it's an arid climate, so it's really dry. So just sleeping, you're losing moisture. Some of you guys may live in a place where that does not happen. I happen to live in a place where it does happen, so it's very important to stay hydrated. Upon awakening, I drink about 32 ounces of liquid. So generally it's coconut water if I have it. If I don't, then I'm drinking filtered water. And then I'll go to work, and then I'll work until I get hungry. So I don't just wake up and instantly, I gotta eat breakfast, because when you're eating breakfast, you're breaking your fast. And I want to extend my fast as long as possible and not eat until when hunger calls and when I'm hungry. So I work a bunch, then a couple hours later, depends on the day, depends how busy I am, then I'll get hungry. And then I'll do one of three things for breakfast and or for lunch. So those three things are, number one, if I have a lot of fresh fruits that I need to eat that are ripe, I'll just eat a whole mono meal of fruits. I could eat 3 or 4 mangoes, or I could eat, actually the other day I had jackfruit for breakfast, just a whole bunch of jackfruit till I was just totally full and happy. So that's option one. Option two is I could have something like a green smoothie. So I could go out to my garden, backyard, pick a whole bunch of leafy greens, mix it in with some coconut water, and then like some bananas, and then blend that up into a green smoothie. Or I could have a fruit smoothie. So, a whole fruit green smoothie. Other option I like to do is green juice. So then I'll go out to my backyard, pick about a pound of greens. Just the other day I picked a pound of collard greens out of my backyard. That's only 12 leaves. And then juiced up a whole head of celery, some cucumber, some apples, and a lemon, and boom, there's my green juice. About 48 ounces or so, depending, or sometimes up to 64 ounces, and then that's my meal. And so if I did one of those for breakfast, then I'll do one of the other options for lunch. It's rare that I do like fruit. I might do a green smoothie and then fruit, or I might do fruit and then like green juice. And I always switch it up. I think it's very important to get enough greens in a plant-based diet. I mean, most people neglect the greens. It's easy to eat fruit because they're good, but most people simply do not eat enough greens. And then those are my first 2 meals. And then my last meal of the day is generally one of 2 things in general. It's either usually a large salad or a nice, delicious raw soup, from juiced ingredients, whether I have a base of carrot juice or tomato juice or pepper juice, or zucchini juice or cucumber juice, maybe with a handful of nuts blended up, and that's the soup base. Then I'll cut up a ton of vegetables in there, maybe some seaweed sometimes, and then that'll be my main meal, the soup. Or I'll have a huge salad, like a big head of lettuce, or like a pound of greens with like a fruit and nut based dressing. So one of my favorite ones and easy ones to make is orange juice and macadamia nuts blended up. I mean, I could do like a tomato, pepper, nut base, or I could do like orange juice with avocado. I mean, a little bit of fat and a lot of vegetables is basically what I'm eating, and that's kind of what I eat today, Mike.
Oh, cool. It seems pretty easy. So just fruit, vegetable juice, and then big salad.
Yeah,
soup. That's
pretty
it.
simple.
It's, it doesn't have to be all that complicated. Now, before I get going on this question, we calculated your BMI. It's about like 20.
Right. 20.1.
And you're supposed to get under 25, so he's in perfect range, healthy range. Not too light, not too heavy. Now, how many calories do you get? On average.
So, Mike, I don't really, calculate my calories because I don't want to live my life by a calorie calculator, try to like figure it out. And I have been doing this a period of time. And what I could say is this, the average man should eat about 2,000 calories. I figured out on certain days, what I eat, and I eat around 2,000 calories. Now, do I always eat 2,000 exactly? No, it depends on my activity level, what I'm doing. If I'm like exercising more, if I'm out gardening more, if I'm sweating more, if my brain's, being used more, I'm going to burn more calories because your brain burns calories too. And I just let my body regulate. Like if I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. And that's just kind of what regulates how many calories I eat. So in general, I eat around 2,000 plus or minus, depending on some days I'll eat more greens and less fruit. Some days I'll eat more fruit and I'll bring it up a little bit. Some days I'll have an extra handful of nuts. I mean, whatever. But around 2,000.
So no calorie restriction, right?